Some of the most important questions in aesthetics aren't about treatments. They're about decisions, when to grow, what to say yes to, and what could impact your career long term. Welcome back to Beauty Babble. I'm Suzanne, Cedesco accredited esthetician, educator, and mentor. And today we're working through real question estheticians are navigating right now. Because no matter what, where you are in your career, starting out, building, or even trying to grow, these are the moments where clarity really matters. And often it's not that you're doing the wrong thing, you don't know what to do. It's that you're not sure what's the right decision for you. So today we're talking about when to open more hours, how to build a business without relying on social media, whether you should sign a non-compete, and how to actually study ingredients in a way that makes sense and applies in the treatment room. These are a lot of the questions that I get. So I dug through emails, I wrote notes down of past conversations I've had with professionals, and these were the top topics. The first question that actually came up in that conversation with one of the pros out there, and thanks for always saying yes to allowing me to do this, or some have actually submitted these questions as well. I mean, this is why we created Beauty Babble podcast, is to reach many of you, because most of you have the same exact questions. Question one, when should I open more hours? This is common. It actually comes from a place of wanting to grow. But also sometimes, there's a fear when it feels slow. And we get a lot of questions out there. It's slow right now. And we're telling them, you're not alone. It's out there. So does this mean you need to open more hours? It doesn't automatically create more clients, though. So if anything, it sometimes stretches your energy, your focus, and your availability without actually increasing the demand. So here's what I want you to look at instead. Are you constantly booked 70 to 80% of your capacity within your current offerings right now? Are clients asking for more times you don't have available? Are you turning people away or waitlisting? That's when you expand. That's when it makes sense for that expansion, when demand's already there, not when you're hoping more hours will fix your slow schedule. You're just going to burn yourself out, spreading yourself thin and diddling your fingers in the day. That's a lot of the comments that we get. And also consider this. Your energy does matter. So more hours, more physical output, more emotional energy, and more potential burnout if it's not aligned. So instead of asking, should I open more hours? Ask, do I have the demand to support it and the capacity to sustain this? Number two, how do I build a business without social media? Listen, I get that. I love this question because a lot of pressures right now to be online. But social media is just a tool. It's not the only way to build a business. You can absolutely build a strong, successful clientele without relying on it. So here's what you can focus on instead. Client experience, how people feel in your space. Rebooking system, are you guiding them to visit for that next visit? Are you rebooking them? Are you offering to rebook them? Are you suggesting to rebook for their next appointment? The next one is referrals. This is the big one. It's a slow and steady, loyal build of your business. Are you creating reasons for your clients to talk about you? That's the biggest one. When they leave, are they telling others about you? And refer them, asking for referrals. So, I would love I'm building my clientele, be straight with your current clients. I have some openings I'd like to fill. I love working with people like yourself. I see we align well. You seem happy with what I do for you. You trust me. You're loyal to me, and I so appreciate you. So asking for referrals is okay to do. Then you have that local visibility. Think of your area. Where do you work? If you're in a residential area, do you know your neighbors? Is there any businesses nearby you that you can work with those other businesses and build that relationship in your area? That word of mouth is still the most powerful tool for growth in this industry. It comes from the trust that you're building with your clients, not algorithms. Remember, social media, yes, it's still needed. It's a tool. It's like a billboard when you drive along the road and you look up at that billboard. That's what that is. Can you build a relationship on social media? I've seen people do it. They're very good at what they do. A lot of times they're hiring people to build that connection too. So maybe find, what does that look like in your budget? Maybe that's the next step for you. But can you do it without social media? Yes. Where were we before social media? It was all word of mouth, mainly. Well, flyers on the parking lot and all the cars. Sure, if you want to pound the pavement, that's another way. Have your business cards with you. You are your billboard, especially if you're on your own. So think of this. You don't need more followers. You need more trust in your local market. The next question, should I sign a non-compete clause? This is interesting because most people are entrepreneurs. You work solo by yourself, so you don't come across this. But there's still some people that are working for spas, other local areas, medi-spas, that type of thing. This is a big one, and it's important to slow down before you say yes. A non-compete clause can impact where you work, how you grow, and what opportunities you have in the future. So before you sign anything, you want to clearly understand what is in that contract. What's the location radius? So they're usually going to tell you you cannot work within 10 miles, 20 miles. Pull up Google Maps and do a radius of what that looks like. How far away do you have to go work if you leave this job? The length of time. How long is this in place for? What that means is they usually tell you you cannot work within a 10, 20 mile radius. I know that sounds extreme, but it's out there for the next 12 months. And what services are actually restricted. So this is where you need to ask questions, and you can negotiate. This contract goes both ways. So you can say, I understand the non-complete clause. I'll only do it for X amount of time because I need to make a living. We can't guarantee that I'm going to stay here forever. I don't know. This is new. You can also say maybe for the first 3 months, because probationary period, I'll sign the contract after my probationary period is finished. This way, you know that you're comfortable staying where you are. Because sometimes I know it goes both ways. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is a great team person. She's going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing. They're going to be amazing. In the end, you're like, oh, no, they're not fitting in well. The other side of that is you. Oh, I did not expect this. I thought this place was going to be like this, this, and this. So it helps both parties. And keep it unemotional. Just be factual. And maybe if they have that 10, 20 mile radius and you're in a small area, maybe you live in the area, you want to stay in the area because it's walking distance, or you live there, whatever that may be. Maybe it's the busing system, right? You have no choice but to do your work in that area. Then say, you know what, I'll do it, but you have to lessen that a little bit. I understand I can't go up the next block by you, but clients are going to go where they want to go in the end. So negotiate, be reasonable, and see if you can come to terms together. Some agreements are actually very reasonable, but some are a little overboard and can limit your career in the future. So don't go in this blindly. It's okay to ask the questions. It's okay for clarification. If you don't understand, if you can't go afford to hire a lawyer to read it for you and explain it, then ask them to explain it. And it's okay not to sign something that doesn't feel aligned with your future. Maybe it's not the right place for you. A contract should protect both sides. That's the thing. It's not just about you, it's about everybody involved. They're trying to run a business as well. And people hop the fence quite often for little reasons that didn't make sense or whatever that is, it's okay. But not to restrict that over long-term growth. I think that's a big one. So don't hesitate to ask questions. As I said, clarification is important. You need to understand what you're signing and maybe need to negotiate, and that's okay. Question 4, how should I study ingredients? I love this question. It's my favorite one. I'm very passionate about education, as probably some of you already know. And most of the time, it's because they're trying to memorize ingredients instead of understanding them. This is a big one. So here's how I would approach it. First, start with the product itself. What is the product supposed to do? And then, what ingredients are actually allowing it to do it? That shift alone starts to build a real understanding. You're not an encyclopedia or Google or ChatGPT. I understand that. I remember having my own business, and what I used to do was target for the month. Okay, what's the product we're looking at? What's the season? And honestly, I'll back up a little bit. It was already in my marketing plan. I knew I was promoting this treatment, these products, this service, whatever it may be, on the month of, say, May. So now what tools do I need to give my staff to be successful? And educating them on ingredient was a big one. But it was more about what the product was supposed to do. It didn't matter if it was for after wax service, a facial treatment, hand care with artificial nails. Like, it didn't matter what the service, I gave them the tools for it. So a lot of you are solo entrepreneurs. So think about, and I get it, because if you're a multi-service type, it's really difficult to keep it all in. I can appreciate that. I totally understand. But when you look at what's your target for the month, what are you looking to offer this month? And it doesn't mean that you have to have a sale. I really don't like that word. But it's what's your target? What are you focusing on? Is it spring cleanup? Okay, what brands, what products, what service can I offer? And then you build that tool of, okay, what's this product supposed to do? How does it help? Then you can look at, so that now you're understanding the to-do behind it. From there, you want to start recognizing patterns and categories. So not individual ingredients sometimes. I know, mind-blowing, but just hear me out. So is it a humectant, emollient? What actives are in it? And you're going to start to see the pattern. All the products, if you look at it, are very similar with their goals and what's in it. There's only so many ingredients you can create to have a hydrating cream, a exfoliating cream, a nourishing, rejuvenating, acne-prone skincare. Like, there's so many ingredients in there, and you'll start to understand the pattern when you can actually look at what the product is supposed to do. So this is where your foundation comes in, because once you understand the categories of the focus, what the product's supposed to do, everything starts to connect. I always say, think of it like a building block. You're not trying to know everything all at once. You guys, that's impossible. Some are very good at it, don't get me wrong. I get that. And the more you speak about it, the easier it becomes for you. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. It's okay to say, oh my God, you know what? I don't know that. Let me look at that. But to this day, I still say that to people, to professionals. You know what? Hang on a second. Let me think on this one. And I have to go back to, okay, what is this product supposed to do? So what are the actives in it that's doing it? And sometimes we have to go further to the why, because everybody's different. Not everybody wants to know the details of it. You have to know your clients for sure. But, maybe it's the visuals. I used to create visuals as well, shelf talkers, or a visual that my team could use. So if it was, let's say, I don't know, they're breaking out a little bit and you want to show them why, we'll show them some diagrams of how the pore starts off with non-inflammatory response. So maybe it's comedones, right? Blackheads or whiteheads. And then it leads into the pustules, which starts that inflammatory response. So then you can say, so now that the skin's becoming inflamed, we need to look at this because this is what this does. It calms that down. It starts to help rebuild the barrier, whatever that may be. So when you break it into categories, you don't have to speak like the chemist, the scientist that created the product. It's not necessarily that's what people want to hear. That you're showing off your intelligence can sometimes look arrogant. So be careful to how far you want to take it. Not everybody knows what a humectant is. Just tell them, I want you to hydrate the skin, and this is how we're going to do it. You can keep it very simple. The other thing is that creates that repetition for yourself because you keep talking about it. It will stick next time that you go to it a few months from now. It's like, oh yeah, I haven't talked about this product for a while. What was that again? And if you just sit back and read it again, your notes, your little booklet or whatever, however you do it, so that you know what to say, it's important. So then the other side is that sometimes we have to apply it. So that hands-on respect. So we're all different learners. So you need to look at how do you learn? And that's how you have to apply it. I'm always asking professionals, tell me how you study for an exam. How did you learn and did well in an exam? What were your steps to that? And they would tell me. So then I knew what kind of learner they were. And then I help break it down for them so they know the tools, what to do, so that they can learn. On that respect, sometimes you need to know how your client learns. So hopefully you know them well enough that you can do that. And if you don't know, then you have to do all of it. You have to talk about it, show it, and apply it. Then you reach every type of person out there. So don't force someone else's learning style on yourself. Figure out what actually helps click for you. That's what's really important. You can also learn a lot by following product lines and brands that prioritize, the education. They're not just selling you the package deal this month. Their focus is actually helping and educating you on the product. Now, that comes on onus to you too, because you have to be able to attend the seminars, go to the webinars, watch the online. Maybe you're following them on social media because they're always educating there, but you have to do your part too. It's not a miracle, right? You have to do your homework as well. So be mindful. Not all education on social media is created equally as well. So, for example, you might see general active advice for, I ran into one not long ago where it said, avoid moisturizers if you're acne prone. Now, your clients are seeing this too. Potentially, they could be seeing it. Now, when you scroll into it, they actually are not against moisturizers. But if they don't click the next slide or pay attention to the whole thing or read all of the caption, they might think, oh my God, see, I knew it. I'm not supposed to use moisturizers. So be mindful of what's out there too. If you read something and it catches your eye, you need to read the whole thing to understand it. There's some great educators online. I understand that I follow many people. I'm in groups. I listen to what people are saying. I love to learn. It's an ongoing thing. You'll never stop. So sometimes it's oversimplified as well. So it's not something that people are following through. As you know, the attention span has gotten less now. So what do you have, a second? I don't even know anymore, but because I don't run my own business, but at one time I knew how long it took a person to pay attention and then they were gone. So it's even shorter now. So if they only read that first page, be ready for it. And you got to educate them on why it is important to use moisturizer. Actually, show me that. Share to me when you see those posts, if you wish, and I'm happy to discuss it. So it can be completely incorrect depending on what's going on with the skin. It's too general information. So this is where your critical thinking comes in. Does this make sense for the skin? Does it align with what I understand about the skin function? Go back to your foundation. It's really important. And finally, bring it back to the real skin. If acne, let's say acne is your niche, that's your focus. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. So study the skin conditions for acne. Maybe you want to use diagrams. They work really good for visual tools, and it helps you speak about it because you see it and then you know what to talk about it. You're becoming an educator, a teacher. Understand what's happening in the skin. Again, showing and explaining is really important. Then connect the ingredients back to it. As I mentioned previously, so you have a breakout, you started with the comedones. This is why I gave and suggested to you to do this treatment, this home care. You're not very consistent with it, which is okay, but let's get you consistent. But now you're breaking out. So now you're on the next phase, and this is what's going on. So now we need to introduce something that's going to be take care of the inflammation, which is the puffiness that you feel in those pustules, in those pimples. You know, talk down a little bit so you're not, I don't mean talk down in a negative way. I'm saying speak to their language, speak to what they understand. Then it won't be as overwhelming as well. You're connecting back to the ingredient again. So you're talking about the product line, and starts becoming a tool for you too. And then you actually know how to use it. You know how to talk about it. You know how to explain it in a way, and you'll find your words. If you don't keep trying and talking, let's take it back to when you first maybe got into this industry, or when you were in school training. Could you speak to a client about skincare? Let's say the treatment. Did you hesitate? Did you fumble? Yes, that's part of it. It's okay. It's learning. By the time you finish your course, your schooling, you probably became a little more confident. And then now, maybe you're months into it, years into it. Look back to how you used to speak and where you are today. So it's okay to get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable so you can do better. And just be honest. That's the biggest thing. As I say to clients, I say to professionals when I'm talking to them, educating them. That's my full-time job as an educator and trainer. So I tell them sometimes, like, gosh, I have so many brands. Let me think on this. I don't have that brand hat on. Give me a second. Or let me get back to you. Or let me confirm this with you. I can't retain everything either. That's something that admit it, and it's okay. Right. But once I have it, I can speak to it. That is the next step. Your confidence will build as you speak about it. Understanding the ingredients isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing what matters and how to apply it. So if you want to go deeper, let's say I want to go deeper into treatment planning, ingredients, or you're building your confidence as a professional, here's the difference. Choose the right brand. They're your partners in this. They should be your partners, as they are the ones educating you on the job, right? That's something to help you to have the tools, not just sell you the promotion of the month. There should be education behind it. So as I said, your distributor, your brand that you're using, what are they doing to help you? And that's how I always chose my brands. Who was my partner in business with my distributors or my brand of products that I used? How are they going to help me? All right, so these are the kinds of questions that shape our career. I've had these questions, they've been coming around forever. They're not new questions. They're not, like I said, they've been asked so many times. I hope that, it's not just the treatment room skills that you're creating for yourself. There's so much more. The more clarity you have in your decisions, the more confidence and sustainability you're going to have for your business. It will grow from there. Slowly but surely, be patient, and I'm sure it will get better. Thanks for joining me on Beauty Babble. If you have any questions, reach out. My information of contact is always in the description. Feel free to reach out anytime. That's what we're here for. That's why we created Beauty Babble. I'm Suzanne, and we'll see you at the next episode.